What's going on, guys? Tommy Nichols, Blue Collar Boys, here with Miss Shari Sebastiao. She is running for Milton City Council, Ward 4, Seat 1. How are you doing, Miss Shari?
I'm wonderful. It's another beautiful day in paradise.
That's right, that's right. I've known you for quite a long time. You've always been a straight up, honest person, so I'm really looking forward to getting these questions in front of you and getting the answers and getting them out to the citizens of Milton.
I've been looking forward to it too, and to be honest with you, I was very upset that I couldn't make the forum, so I'm glad that I'm able to do this.
I appreciate it and I understand. You know, you had some things planned up before, and that's life. It is what it is. But anyways, guys, part one, as usual, is the personal questions. Part two, political questions. Part one, get to know you, and political question, the meat and potatoes. We hit it running. You ready?
Yeah.
Alrighty. Part one, personal questions. Who are you?
I am a wife. I'm a mother. I'm a grandmother. A business owner, a civil servant to the citizens of Milton. And not just even the citizens of Milton, but pretty much anybody I come across. I mean, if I have it and I can help you, I'm going to do it.
Right.
I mean, that's the way I was raised. I was always raised that, you know, I didn't come from a lot. I didn't have that much. So growing up, as my sister said, when I decided to get involved with politics, she said, remember where you came from.
That's right.
That's where I stand, where I came from, and that's what I bring.
I love that answer. And that's very important right there. Remember where you came from. And sadly, in today's world, so many, they strive to get out and get away, and they forget who they are and where they came from.
And it's easy to do, and I can see how it's easy to do. But for me, again, I have my family that backs me all the time, and they're the ones that keep me on the straight and narrow to make sure that I'm still doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
That's right. Gotta have the family to pull you back down and put in your rear end.
They will. They will put that boot there if I don't follow what I'm supposed to be doing.
They're doing their job then. All right. Number two, what do you / did you do for a living, and why did you choose this profession?
Let's see. What did I used to do for a living? Let's see. I drove a school bus for like 14 years. Which I dearly loved. Right. And so that ended. But I did that in Jacksonville for 2 years, and then, 4 years in Jacksonville. And then I did 10 years in Santa Rosa County driving school buses. And I drove ESE kids, which what I loved. That was, when you are around children, I mean, if you can't light up no matter what their situation is, then I mean, driving a school bus was the joy for me. And when that came to an end, then I decided, well, maybe it's time to do something different. So I prayed, and the good Lord said, you know, maybe you should get into selling things. And I was like, that's weird. So I started selling things and became, you know, opened my own small business, and it flourishes. I mean, I'm at almost 10 years. Yeah, wow, it's already been 10 years. I know. Wow. It's crazy, 10 years. It has flown by right there. It has flown by. Man, oh man, oh man. Wow. What's the name of that company of yours? Yeah, Second Fold Men's Clothing, Shoes, and Vintage. And actually, we're getting ready to expand again. Really? So I'm very excited about it. Yeah, absolutely. Where are y'all located at? We're at 6173. Let's change that, because I'll give you the new address, 6171 Stewart Street in Milton, and it's right past your Skate World, Weber's Skate World, on the left-hand side, right past it. If you're heading out towards Whiting Field, we're on the left. Awesome, awesome. Yeah, interviewed Jeff Snow a couple weeks ago, and he was telling me a lot of cool things coming for that skating rink as well. So. Oh yeah, I'm excited about that too. Yeah. I saw that they got that big track that they're putting out there, and that is amazing for Milton. And not to mention the business it's going to bring to Milton, the people that are going to come here, they're going to go skating, they're going to eat at our restaurants, they're going to shop at our stores. So I mean, it's going to bring a lot to Milton, and that's a worldwide kind of track thing. Absolutely, and that's what he was saying. It's going to be, how do you say it? It's going to be the center point for the Mecca. Yeah, the Mecca for speed skating or indoor speed skating for the United States, right there in little old Milton. So I know, and I remember when I came here 23 years ago, and I said to my husband, I said, Milton, where's Milton?
Right.
And so, but I'm glad he brought me here because
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. I mean, and actually it was longer than 23 years. It's probably closer, to like, so we were here for like 4 years and then we came back and been here 23. So altogether, I mean, like, what, 27 years?
Yeah.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
It's the longest place I've ever lived in my life.
Heck
Because,
yeah.
you know, when you're military and you're traveling
Right.
around, you know, I didn't spend a lot of time where I grew up.
Right.
So
So you've been, basically, this is home pretty much. Is what
it
you're
is
saying.
home. It
Yeah.
really is home to me. I mean,
Yeah.
everything that we do and everything that I do, my family, everything centers around Milton, Santa
Right.
Rosa County.
Exactly.
This is where we call home.
Yep.
My children graduated from Milton High School. I have one that graduated from Laughlin Adult School because she wanted to get in and get out and done.
Right.
And but we, you know, again, we love this area
Yeah.
and we call it home.
Absolutely. And like I said, 27 years, this is home.
This is home.
Now, how did these jobs help prepare you for your job on the council?
Oh my gosh. I mean, okay, so here's one of those things I tell people all the time. When you drive a school bus, you're taught to look way ahead.
Right.
And so now in life, everything that I do, it makes me know that I have to plan ahead. So when I say plan ahead, I mean the children, the youth, or the younger adults that come up behind us,
Right.
the things that they want, like you, the things that you want to see in the city, the things that you want to do in the city. So when people ask me questions and they say, you know, what are your thoughts on this subject or that, I try to think about what these ones coming up behind
Right.
me. And so like I said, so it's one of those things to basically try to plan ahead.
Exactly. I love that answer.
I mean,
right
a lot
there.
of people don't do that, but I
No,
do.
they don't. They live in the here and now, and they think about today and tomorrow. They don't think about down the road, and that's very, very important. If you're not prepared for down the road, then when it gets here, you're behind the 8 ball, and everybody else is done moving way ahead of you.
Absolutely.
And we don't need that right there. All right. What was your biggest issue you have faced either in your business or in life?
My biggest issue in my business or in life, I think maybe the separation of just being away from my husband when he was in the military for 21 years. I think that was the hardest part.
Right. Oh, yeah.
You know, it's hard. I give single parents, like I was a single parent when my first daughter was born for 6 months, before I met my wonderful husband.
Right.
And so single parents, they have it tough.
Yeah. Better believe it.
And when granted, it's not as tough for somebody who has a husband who's, you know, sending home the paycheck. You know, you're still getting the paycheck, but it's hard being one parent trying to raise 3 children. And as I say, if you can survive being a single parent, you can do anything.
Right. You were very true about that right there. And I had, you know, I grew up with both parents, but my wife, she came from a single parent household right there, and I see the struggles that her mom went through, but it made Sarah a better person. Okay.
I think it really just made me a stronger.
Right.
I mean, again, my family, my mother growing up, I mean, she was my mom, like I said, my mother at one point was a single parent. And she raised 4 children, and
Right.
she raised 4 well-adjusted children that never got in trouble with the law and, you know, became good citizens.
Right.
And so, you know, and that's really all you want for your children.
Absolutely.
You want to be able to raise them and know that you did a good job.
Yep.
But like I said, it's a tough job when you're
Heck
single.
yeah, because you're against the 8 ball and behind the 8 ball all day long on that, you know, because you just look at the numbers, of things that could go wrong, you know, kids end up in jail, dead, you know, gangs, drugs. I mean, it's so much easier for that to happen to a child in a single parent household, and it sucks it's that way, but that's just the reality of it. So if you're able to prevent those things from happening, and then, you know, lead a good life on top of that.
And that's why I said my mom, you know, maybe like I said, there's no book.
Yeah.
There's no book to tell you how to be a parent. There's really no book to tell you how to be a single parent.
Right.
And if you get through that and you've raised good children and they lead good lives, I mean, all my brothers and sisters, even to this day, I mean, everybody, we're all well-established individuals, and we've learned things from my father, you know, as kids, we sat on the side of the road and sold things. And when I say sell things, I don't mean just like on the road selling things.
Right.
My dad, you know, he was an entrepreneur. You know, Father's Day, you know, Father's things, Christmas, toys, 4th of July, fireworks,
Right.
Mother's Day, flowers. So those were things that my father did, and worked also at flea markets and things like that. So kind of the fact that I'm in the
Right.
now a vintage market
Yeah.
kind of thing added to my
Wonder where you
repertoire.
learned that from.
Yeah, kind of comes from my upbringing and the way
Right.
that my father, you know, he made sure that we knew the value of money.
Yep.
He made sure that we knew, you know, how to, you know, collect money, how to make change. You know, those are things that, you know, we learned basically on the street.
Yeah.
I mean, literally.
Literally, yeah.
And, you know, to this day, those are the things that keep us, all of us, you know, knowing that things are done a certain way.
Yep, exactly. And like I said, you know, I think it's pretty cool to hear, you know, basically continuing on with the tradition right there.
It really is. And I mean, my dad, I say this all the time. I'm like, I think my dad would be very proud
Yeah.
to see where I have come in 10 years.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because I can
Yeah.
tell you, 10 years ago, when I got hurt and thought that the world was coming to an end, and, you know, because I fell out of my attic and hit the
Oh,
concrete
wow.
and shattered my elbow into a million pieces. And, you know, after that, you know, you kind of revisit things
Yeah.
and kind of decide that, you know, what am I going to do now? So,
You turn back to what you know, what you grew up on.
exactly. And it works.
If it wasn't for that, who knows where you would
So,
be.
yeah, exactly. So had I not been taught those
Exactly.
things, then I would have
You don't know
not
where-
survived.
You don't know what, you know, things happen for a reason. That's proof, right?
Oh, and I know, and I tell my husband that all the time, and he hates it. I'll tell him, I say, everything happens for a reason.
It's true,
So,
though. It really is.
And he's like, I'm like, yeah, everything
Yep.
that you do. If it, you know, I didn't win that election when I ran the first time. I didn't win,
Right.
but there was a reason I didn't
Yep.
win. There was a reason. There was more time for me to be involved, more times for me to go to meetings,
Build
more
your name,
to let,
prepare yourself.
yeah, and let people. I mean, again, talk to people, know who your people are that you work with.
Yep.
You know, if I didn't have that extra time, it probably would have been more difficult.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So,
we may not be sitting here right
everything
now.
we do,
Yep.
everything you
believe
do.
it. All right, Ms. Shari, what is your favorite thing about the city of Milton?
Oh my God, the downtown, the historic, beautiful downtown.
Yep.
I mean, every chance that I can be in downtown, whether it's walking on the boardwalk, whether it's going to the bands on the Blackwater,
Yep.
whether it's hitting up the garage patio bar and sitting, and I don't even drink, so I'll go there if
Right.
there's a food truck. The other day I drove by, there was a food truck, and I was like, I was like, let me go zoom in. So, I mean, whether it's hanging out in downtown, visiting a business, talking to a business owner, talking to my friends, hanging out, you know, like I said, at different places. I have friends that own one of the beauty shops down there. I have somebody that owns a barber shop down there. I have other friends that own the breweries down there.
Right.
So, you know, I want to go down there and spend time with them
Yeah.
and spend, you know, because
It's a lot of fun.
It's great.
I love going down there. I used to go to Pensacola a lot because most people, that's where they go, right? But I hope people don't take this the wrong way, but the older I've gotten, I'm like, the heck, Pensacola, you know, I live.
I want to play here.
Yeah, exactly. And I've got, you know, this. But the thing is you don't. And that's the thing. We got to get the message out there to more, because a lot of folks don't know the great options that are right down there.
They're right there. And you know what the funny thing is so I hear this a lot, and I tell people all the time, I don't comment on anything when it comes to Facebook. People comment, they do things, they say things, whatever.
Mhm.
I don't comment, but I do read them.
Right.
And I read a lot of it.
Right.
And, you know, when you see people saying, oh, there's nothing down there and this and that, you know, we both know that I had a business down there for 3 years.
Right.
And I was in there was 3 businesses together. There were 3 of us, and all 3 of us were right there in the same building together. There was a restaurant, there was shopping, there was my clothes store, there was another gentleman downstairs who had stuff. So we all had our own individual business in this building that we shared. But, you know, being in that building right there, sharing that space, being in the downtown, I got to enjoy how beautiful it really is.
Yeah.
I miss it.
Yeah,
If I could be on the water, I would. But there are things that you can't do anything about.
Right.
And it's called Mother Nature.
Yeah, you're right. You're
and
absolutely correct.
you know, when the floods come through, there's nothing you can do.
No.
So I mean, but when we were there, like I said, I hear people saying there's nothing there. Well, there's businesses there, and there's businesses coming. I know right now there's the gym, the country gym and bar is coming down there that is working on. I was looking in the windows the other day. Beautiful in there. It's getting, you know, so, but people didn't come down there and they'd say, no, there's nothing down there. But there was a restaurant down there and they didn't even know it was there. There was a place to shop for records and toys and men's clothes and women's clothes.
And
everything was in that one building. Yeah. And everybody kept saying,
that's where I met you at.
Exactly. And so everybody would say there's nothing there.
Yep.
There's nothing there if you don't go there. You got to go. Exactly. You got to go down there often. You've got to see, because things are, as I tell people, we are growing. We're like a tree, and the roots of our tree have to grow first.
You're right.
And we are working on that downtown, building the roots of that tree so that tree can spread.
Absolutely.
And it is spreading already.
Yeah,
I mean, you really see the businesses in downtown. It is crazy.
Yeah, it's you know, for a lot of folks, you know, that, you know, you've been here for a long time. For a lot of us that grew up here and everything, you know, when I was a little boy, Milton was the place, okay? And then as I through my teen years and all that, Pace became the place. And then Milton kind of like, well, Milton died. And that's what I was telling Jeff. It's like, what the heck, you know, everything moved from Milton to Pace, but now it seems as if, wait a minute, here comes Milton again.
There's a shift.
It's coming right back.
There's a shift.
And what the cool thing about it, though, is, yeah, Pace has got a lot of new, you know, buildings and stuff like that, but what makes Milton unique is those buildings, that history, that river right there. That's something Pace doesn't have. Okay?
Oh my gosh, you know,
the lifeblood of Santa Rosa County is Blackwater River right there, and it runs right through there, and there's a lot of great opportunities in building. Oh my goodness, man. And I want nothing more than to see that place kicking and booming and flourishing the way it used to. I mean, talking when Milton, you know, boomed, okay, and became the spot. I would love for that to happen again right there. And just,
I think we're on our way.
I hope so. Good grief, I hope so. And the more businesses, the more folks that come there and see that and start, and that's the thing. We got to keep hitting the message and telling folks.
They have to realize that places like Publix don't just come to places because, you know, they're there, you know, they come there knowing that there is a need for them.
Exactly.
They also know that when an area is growing.
Yep.
Publix knows when an area is growing, and they feel like that they need that. So when I see places like Publix come in, that just makes me go,
there's something there.
There's something there. Obviously something there.
Because they paid, I guarantee they paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to do studies before they even thought about buying that land right there.
And I'll be honest with you, from what I've been told, that land, they owned that land for a while before they built that. So
yeah, absolutely. You know, because why are they going to invest all this money and time for a city that's dying? They're not going to. They'd be fools to do that, right? So that right there should tell folks, hey, this place is something. They're coming back. They're turning on the rebound, and like I said, but I love seeing, you know, the old, you know, the garage bar and all that stuff. That's a uniqueness right there. There's
you can't get it, and you can't just go anywhere. And when you talk to the youth, like I was in downtown for from our bands on the Blackwater, and then Saturday I went down for our getting ready for our Ghost Walk, because that's coming up on the 21st and the 22nd. So I was down there doing my rehearsals, because this year I normally do the tour guide thing, but this year I've decided that I'm going to actually do a role this year. So I'm a little scared, a little nervous, but I'm good. Yeah. But I'm picked the role of a teacher, so that's kind of in line with the way I do things anyway.
Right.
So it's all good.
Oh, yeah.
But talk to some of the kids that were down there, because they were down there doing all their PACE was doing. A lot of the kids were taking their pictures.
Right.
And then, of course, in Milton, everybody comes from PACE to go to Milton to take pictures.
Yep.
By the Imogene, on the water,
Yeah.
by the train station, and I asked this group, there was probably about 6, 7, 8 kids right there in the room, and I asked them, I said, so my question is, can I ask you why you come to Milton for your homecoming, your pictures and all that? And they're like, because it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
We love it here, it's beautiful. And, you have the beautiful water, and you have the beautiful buildings, and
it's the feel too. Okay, it's the whole ambiance of it. You got to think about all that history. It bleeds off into the environment. That feeling that you get right there. It's not just a place. It's an emotion.
You can't sell it to someone.
Right.
It's somebody. You've got to feel it.
Exactly.
If you go down,
true.
like I said, these kids, and they feel it.
Right.
When you ask them questions, you feel it. You know that they're coming. They're saying it from their heart, and they were like, it's because it's so beautiful here.
Well, you got to think. In between you have Pensacola, then you have Milton, and then in between there's no older buildings, there's no kind of history, you know what I mean? And Milton was a boom area, okay, and they had built all those buildings right there. Exactly.
They milled.
And those buildings are still there, that whole feeling's still there, and you got to think, throughout the years and all the people that's came and gone, the things that place has seen, and I don't care what anybody says, that is absorbed into that city right there. Kind of like downtown Pensacola is the same way. That history is absorbed into that city right over there.
And that's why I like the Ghost Walk. Because when I go to, when you go to the Ghost Walk, it's not just about ghosts. It's about the history of Milton. You learn things about, people that lived there, the things that were done there, who built the Imogene, who built this building, what they built it with.
Yep.
I mean, because I don't think that people understand that, like I tell people, the bricks on the courthouse, and the bricks on other buildings, depending on the color of those bricks determine on how much money they had.
Yep, you're absolutely correct.
These are things that you don't know.
Yep.
You've got to learn them, and like I said, I've been here 27 years, and
you've learned quite a bit in those 27 years. That's for sure.
You ain't kidding.
And the Ghost Walk, that's a special thing right there. My dad, before he retired from being the chief of the tribe, the Sarah County Creek Indian tribe, he would do all that down there, and I'd go down there with them.
And they still do it too. And we have they'll be out there doing it this year. So
they're always in the same location. But I remember when it first started and they first done it, from seeing what it started out as to just, I think it was like 3 or 4 little things to now it's an event. You know what I mean?
It's a big event.
It really is. And there's so much history there that you can build off of and play off of to do those kind of things. And a lot of people don't know this. Milton, Milton was like the Wild West for a while there. It was some crazy things that went down over there.
Some of the things that I've heard.
Explosions, blow bombs, drive-by shootings. Boy, it was like, Al Capone's Chicago for a minute there. That's for sure. Yeah, heck yeah. And a lot of people don't know that. That's what I'm saying. And can you imagine if more folks knew that stuff, how much more interested they would be to get
and maybe
involved?
Not want to tear down buildings that are, again, to them, maybe they're not historical to you, but they're on the register as historic buildings. And if they're on the register as historic buildings, then we, as caretakers of the city, need to do better.
I agree.
And plan better and take care of what our ancestors left us.
Right. History, that's the thing. History is very, very important. And because me being, I hate to keep bringing it up, me being the son of a Creek chief, my history, I always, if I don't teach it and push it on to the next generation, like my dad done me and my brother, it dies.
It dies.
And the thing is Milton is a beautiful place. It's like that's what I'm saying, Milton and Pensacola, they're almost twins right there in the history aspect of it.
It's massive, but it's not going to be massive if we continue to allow people to tear it up, you know, and I mean, in my heart of hearts, I can hear my ancestors in the back of my head going, don't let them, don't let them, you know, stand up for what you feel is right.
Gotcha.
So, as I tell people, I will go kicking and screaming, whatever it takes.
I got you. I trust me. I believe, knowing you, I'm sure you will too. Alrighty, now we hit on we got into some different areas right there, but hey, you know, wherever it takes us. But exactly. I know we got off
and I'm good. I'm here, you know, till we get it done.
I got you. But no, you know, history is very, very important, and especially for me, you know, I'm 8th generation Santa Rosa County citizen, you know, so this is home right here, and so I don't want nothing to happen to my home.
And I feel you.
And so, don't get me wrong, I know I can't live, you know, in the past and all that, but the thing is you have to respect where you came from. Okay, if you don't
bring some of it with you.
Exactly.
Because if you don't, I mean, again, I think about it now as I'm getting older, because I'm 56 years old.
Right.
And I tell people all the time, I said, you know, I'm getting older, and I start to realize that I'm not going to be here forever.
Right.
So I need to make sure that I can do everything I can to make our city better than it was when I left it.
There you go. Absolutely. That's 100% correct right there, and that's the goal right there, to leave this place better than the way you found it. So I 100% agree with that. And I know about the big thing down there at Milton. You know, some people wanted to knock down this or move this, and then some wanted to keep it the same. But the thing is there's got to be a happy medium somewhere in there, you know what I mean? But the thing is don't kill our past, man. That's all. That's what made this one of the reasons that
again, it's what makes us. It's exactly. what makes who we are.
Right. Yes. And Milton, you know, the history is what's so special about it. That river and that's
the beauty I fell in love with when we came here 27 years ago. When we came through here and we drove through downtown, and it was so beautiful, and I was just like, oh my God, I have to be here.
That's Americana right there.
And it's when I talk to people about it, here's the thing, as even people that have moved here that are new here, that say, that'll look at me and they'll go, what? And I'll be like, yep. And they'll be like, how could you tear up something so beautiful?
Right.
My thoughts are this: if you want to get there faster, there's an interstate.
Makes sense.
I mean, there really is.
Yeah.
I mean, and we all fell in love with Milton because of how small town, slow everything is.
You drive through downtown Milton, like I said, you get that American
feel. It's that feel that I told you, that feel that you can't buy.
Yep.
That feel
across there, you see the train trestle, you got the beautiful river, you coming in there, you see all the old buildings, you see the old courthouse right there. You could easily close your eyes and wake up in the 1940s right there.
And I would love it too.
You know, but the thing is, in reality, you really could, you know, and I love that. And that's just, like I said, the same way with Pensacola, same way with Mobile. You know, that's what makes those cities unique right there, is you have to remember where you came from right there.
Always.
Because if you go in there and you knock down, I'm not saying this is what everybody's want to do, I'm just saying if you go in there and you knock down all these old buildings and build new buildings right there, you killed the soul of that city right there. I mean, yeah, it's still the same name, it's still the same location, but it's not the same. You know what I mean?
I get it, and I hear people say, "Well, you know, they're gonna move buildings and they're gonna build them back brick by brick."
Right.
Okay, I get it. I see what you're saying, but here's the thing: when you build it back brick by brick, you're not building it back with the same mortar. You're not building it back with the same bricks. I mean, if one breaks, what are you going to replace it with? You're going to replace it with a brick, a different brick.
Right. You're right.
You know, and hopefully they're going to try and find some bricks that
that match or, or come from the same era, I would hope
Exactly,
so.
and that's what you would hope for because,
Yeah.
again, historically,
And if it
you want to
comes
do
down-
everything as close to what it needs to be.
Right, exactly.
And so, but that doesn't make it, to me, historic isn't, and sometimes isn't even all about, it's not, like I said, historic isn't always about who stayed there or what stayed there, but it was there.
Right, right.
It's been there
Right.
for all these years.
You're right. You're absolutely correct.
Just, I mean, so that's, I mean, again,
I don't know what the be all end all solution is over there. What it's going to come down to.
I don't either, but I
My
know
thing
that I'm
is-
going to fight the whole way.
I understand.
Making sure that we do exactly what the citizens want.
Right, and that's the
not
thing.
just one particular group of citizens
Mhm.
or another group of citizens.
Mhm.
We are doing the best that we can do for all of the citizens.
Right,
And am I
absolutely.
going to make everybody happy?
Oh, of course not.
Not a chance. Not a chance.
No,
It's never
absolutely
going to
not.
happen.
No, you're gonna
Even in
always make
business,
somebody
you
mad.
can't make people happy.
Right.
It's not going to happen. I am going to only do the best that I possibly can do for the city.
Absolutely, and that's the thing. If you listen to your citizens, whatever it's their call at the end of the day. What they want is what they want. Now, do I agree with what they want, or do I like it? Maybe not, but
But that's not my decision to make.
Exactly. So, I just hope when it's all said and done, we're able to live with the decisions that's made and
Live and let live.
right. Absolutely.
Smile, be happy,
Life
be
goes
thankful
on.
that you got one more day on this beautiful planet.
Absolutely. But my thing is I love my history.
I do too. I do too. I love the history. So,
Alrighty, now we can jump into
Some
part
big
2,
questions?
the political questions. Alrighty, number 1, why did you decide to get involved with politics to begin with?
first and foremost, somebody said to me, Shari, have you ever thought about getting into politics? And I looked at him and I was like, you're crazy.
Yeah,
I
right.
don't think so. And then my husband and I talked about it a little bit, and he said, what you need to do is you need to pull up some videos and archives and start watching.
Right.
So I sat down and I started pulling up videos and I started watching all the meetings. And I was like, holy crap. My mother, if I was in that seat with the young lady who was in my ward running, if my mother had ever seen the way that she treated the citizens and even her council members, she would have been appalled. So when I saw it, I just was like, wait a minute. This isn't right. You can't talk to people like that. You can't treat people disrespectful. Now, does that mean that you let people run over you?
Right.
Mm-mm.
Right.
No, because I'm not that girl.
Right.
But to step up, I decided that it was time for me to step up.
Right.
I'm like, I've got these shoulders my mom gave me, strong, independent woman that I am,
Right.
to handle it. And I decided that after watching it, that it was time for somebody to step up and say, look, this isn't right, and maybe I can do better.
Gotcha. Good answer. Now, who were some of your political influences that you grew up admiring and that guide you to this day?
The funny thing is, I wasn't involved politically when it comes to growing up. I mean, as a kid, like I said, where I came from,
You was more.
well, you weren't thinking about that.
Right.
You were thinking about making sure that we had food on the table.
Right.
I mean, even as a kid, you should never have to think like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
You
not.
should never have to worry about when your next meal's coming.
No. Heck no.
So, but I mean, we were never, none of that was ever even a thought.
Right.
And I even say it to the day. Sometimes I wish that, I had been more politically involved. But I mean, when it comes politically, and again, I still don't feel like I'm a politician.
Right.
I just feel like I'm a citizen trying to help out the citizens of Milton.
Right.
That's it.
That's exactly. Perfect. Alrighty, what is the biggest issue in Milton in your opinion at this time, and why is it the biggest issue? Now, I know maybe you want to say that, but that's going to come up later. So if there's another issue now, guys, like I said,
I think right now, the wastewater treatment plant, maybe.
Okay.
And I mean, here's the thing, like we just had a meeting last night. And I'll tell you right now that if anybody wants to have any idea what's going on as far as the wastewater treatment plant, where we're at, where we're going with it, how that goes, tune into last night's meeting. You can pull it up on miltonflorida.org, City of Milton website, go to archive meetings, and when you pull it up and go to last night's, the 11th archive meeting, go to 36 minutes, point 41, and it starts right there where Randy Jurgensen, our city manager, lets people know exactly what's going on with the city and when it comes to our wastewater treatment.
Put that on there. So if you guys want to check that out.
But I think that right now is probably one of a couple different issues. But I think that I feel like I've said it before. I get it, not in my backyard.
Right.
But we all do it.
Right.
And we all need it.
I understand.
And we came with, it's not something that I created, it's something that was here that we were grandfathered into, that now we have to deal with it. And I feel like we are working hard to do the best that we possibly can for the citizens. And again, like I said, we're not going to make everybody happy.
Right. Yeah,
but we have to continue to move forward and get it done and get it off the river before 2025.
Gotcha. Now, I want to say, guys, these are the same questions that we ask all the folks, and these are your questions. So just so you know, these questions came from your constituents, your citizens. These are the City of Milton's questions. I didn't just, I'm going to write up some questions one day. No,
I know it.
How I do it is I put it out there. We're interviewing these folks. Give me your questions. So guys, so just so y'all know, these are your questions. So listen closely to her answers and all the folks that we interview's answers, because they're answering your questions, guys. Alrighty. Question 4. With all the growth all over Santa Rosa County, we are all experiencing a lot of new issues and concerns. What do you see will be Milton's biggest concern because of the growth, and how do you fix that?
I think Milton's growth, honestly, I feel like I see there's a lot of growth in Milton, but there's also a lot of growth on the outskirts of Milton. So we're talking more like East Milton.
Right.
Really, and not just East Milton. How about North Milton?
Yeah.
I mean, I know where my business is in North Milton, and I can tell you that there's no restaurants out there.
Right.
There's no food out there. There's not a lot of businesses as far as like retail out that way. There's just nothing there. So I think that working more, getting more things to do in the northern end of Milton, which is where I live. And that's another reason why my business I'm literally right outside of the north end of Milton. And again, it brings people into that area.
Right.
So
goes them to a different area that you probably wouldn't go to normally.
I think that right now is our issue is just finding more growth. We need more things in the northern end of Milton. Which again, Publix is one of those things that's coming up in the north end of Milton. So like I said before, growth, it's happening. And people are seeing it, and we're feeling it.
But right there will be a big help to fixing that problem right there, because like you said, there's no restaurants, there's nothing that out there.
No, if you want something to eat before you have to get it before you hit, basically before you get to Milton High School, you better find something, because once you pass Milton High School and you head up that road, there's really nothing up there.
No, there's not. Unless you want some gas station food, but that's
okay. I think I'll pass.
Yeah, right. But yeah, come to think of it, you are absolutely correct. That would be great, but Publix hopefully will help jumpstart that.
Yes, and it's not just Publix that'll be there, because there are other things coming in that area too, and that will come to light as time progresses. Again, things that we can't talk about until they actually happen, because there are confidential things that we can't discuss.
Right, and the thing is if you see a Publix there, common sense is going to tell you something else is obviously going to be right behind it or right with it, because it's not just going to be there by itself. and as you can see with the one in Pace, it was a whole shopping center, same one over there.
And 5 Points.
And when that gets there, hopefully it'll do what it done for P Ridge area over there. It'll spark more growth and more new food places coming in and stuff like that, which and I'm sure everybody knows.
And again, here a thing too with growth. With growth, people see it. Public sees it. People see it. When they see it, they want to start. And I hear it all the time. Somebody the other day said something about they wanted to start a business, a restaurant, or so it. People feed off of that.
Yes, absolutely.
They feed off that growth. They see it, and people, again, they like me see a need.
Right.
When I started my men's clothing store, again, there are no men's clothing stores anywhere. It's always women and kids.
Yep.
So I felt like I could fill that need.
Yeah, and come to think of it, that's the only one that I can think of is yours, because like you said, there's a handful of children and infant children and women's stores around here, but there's nothing that specializes for men. There's really
not at all.
Especially in that area over there. You figure if you want to get some boots or something like that, you got to drive all the way in the P Ridge or
Pensacola for that matter. And a lot of people, they don't want to drive to Pensacola.
Right.
I know I don't. I'd rather stay in my town.
Exactly, and that's me. I'd rather spend my money in this area right here, to help a small business such as yours out, and plus I don't have to drive all the way to Pensacola.
Again, we shop. We try to shop where we live. We shop at our lawnmower repair places. We shop at our local little grocery stores.
Yep.
We shop at our vintage markets. We shop at our we eat at our local restaurants. Our local sandwiches shops. Our local pizza places. We again in Milton, that for me, that's the way I feel.
Right.
27 years, I feel like that we support as much of our city as possible whenever we can.
Absolutely. And
not saying I don't go other places, because I do. I was in Munson this weekend for the festival. Yeah. And I go to Pensacola too for events and festivals and things. I do that just like everybody else. Yeah. But again, most of the time you can guarantee that I'm spending most of my time and money and energy in my local area.
Absolutely. And we just need more folks to do that.
Correct.
Alrighty. There are a lot of dangerous intersections in Milton, such as Dogwood and Hamilton Bridge Road, and Stewart and Magnolia. How do we make these intersections as safe as possible for the citizens?
I think the way that we make them safer is being informed. So we need to be informed. If people don't come to us and tell us that there's issues with a certain intersection, we've had people come to us constantly about Dogwood. And we've had people constantly come to us about Magnolia, especially Magnolia now. Again, with the Publix coming, it is going to get busier. Yep. So we, again, by citizens letting us know, and again, us being informed and watching what's going on, paying attention to what's going on, talking with our police chief, making sure that that he's aware, talking to the state, talking to FDOT about the road. Again, we have to be proactive.
Right.
So be informed, be proactive. Don't act like it's no big deal.
Yeah.
It's all a big deal.
Yes.
All of it. Because again, one life is one too many.
Yeah, absolutely. And when this questions came up with everyone that I've sat down and asked it to, I've said the same thing. It sucks that it has to cost somebody a life to get something done. And sadly, with the state, it seems like, they move at a snail space, and that's what it takes. And it sucks it has to be that way. I just, good on you guys for trying to be proactive. Alrighty. One of the things that came up the last few years that seemed to cause some issues was the BLM movement. And Milton had their share of items that it was faced with. Some of the items was the painting of roads with the slogan and the sign in downtown Milton. What was your opinion on all of this? If something like this comes up again, what would you recommend the council do to handle it?
Well, first and foremost, some of the roads that they wanted to painted were not city roads. So we don't have the right to paint our city roads. We don't own them.
Gotcha.
That's not up to us. And but I myself supported, our we had a square cubicle
Right.
that we did where we were able to help out the community and make people understand that, that it's important.
Right.
It's important for us to pay attention to what's going on around us.
Gotcha.
You can't sit back and just pretend like this isn't happening.
Gotcha.
It's important. Everybody's important.
Right.
But again, when you have an outcry from citizens, it is our job to step up and do what we can to make them feel better.
You're right. You're absolutely correct.
Again, is it going to make everybody happy?
No, absolutely
It's just not going to happen. And that's the thing. You've got to understand that everything that we do,
You're going to upset somebody.
yeah, we're going to upset somebody.
Right.
We're going to try and do the best that we possibly can. I'm going to do the best that I possibly can. And again, I say we.
Mm.
There's all of us
Right.
working together.
You're right.
Do we always get along? No, not always.
No,
But again,
no.
do brothers and sisters always get
Right,
along?
exactly. If we all got along, can you imagine, first of all, how boring that would be? Second off,
No. I couldn't imagine.
we'd be all walking down the same line, turning at the same times, doing this. No, I'm good. I'll pass.
Me too.
All right. If constitutional carry or open carry is ever passed in Florida, would you be in favor of it, and would you mind it in the city of Milton?
That's a hell yes.
Quick and easy answer right there. Alrighty, now here we go. Is this the question? Maybe, I'm not sure. We'll find out when I start reading it, I guess. One of the biggest concerns lately have been the bridge. Yes, it is. Coming into Milton from East Milton, there has been a few different options provided to solve it. If you could make the final call on what to do, what resolution would you choose, and most of all, why?
I want to do what's going to be best for the citizens of Milton. And again, I've said this a million times, that I have talked to the people coming up behind me. I mean, I'm 56 years old. What I feel and my opinions don't really matter anymore, because it's not about me.
Right.
It's about the ones coming up behind me. You remember those kids I was telling you about earlier that I talked to at the downtown that were down there taking their pictures?
Yeah.
Okay, so this was a question that I figured I should ask some younger children. I mean, they're high school kids.
Right. They
Know what's going on, and
Right.
if they don't, then we're not doing our job.
Exactly.
So I thought, this is a good time. So I asked them, all of them. So if somebody told you that they wanted to 4-lane through our beautiful downtown, what are your thoughts? One of them said, send them to me. Another one said, that's absurd. Why would you ruin that beautiful downtown by putting a road through it? We don't want it. Tell them we don't want it. I said, these are youth. They said, tell them we don't want it. They want to keep their beautiful downtown. Well, guess what? I want to keep that beautiful downtown too.
Right.
And I'm going to dig my heels in. I've said it before. I don't always wear heels, but I'm going to tell you, I'm going to dig them down in, and they're going to stay there until we can't anymore.
Gotcha.
I'm going to do everything I said I would do when I ran the first time, and I'm doing it again this time. I said that I'm going to dig my heels in. We're going to do everything we can. I'm going to look at all of the options, and hopefully we as a council are going to make the best decision possible.
Right.
And again, we're not going to make everybody happy.
Right. Absolutely not.
But I have to think about the business owners. What happens when they get shut down for a long period of time?
Right.
Because here's the deal. I have a friend that owned a business on Avalon when they decided they were going to 4-lane through downtown, through there. And when they did, her business went under. She lost it.
Yeah,
So
I know a couple folks.
there are businesses that are there that will lose. Some of them that may have been there for decades. So I have to think about that too.
Right.
So am I willing to go to the table and help if for some chance we can't fight anymore and there's no more fight left, knowing that I'm fighting till pretty much the death? Because I'm not, again, when I say I'm going to do something, I do it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to fight till it's over. And I'm going to be at the table when it's time to talk about how we're going to do it. If
stand up for what you believe, fight for what you believe, and if it doesn't come out to what you would like, still be there for the
To be there.
Best of the citizens.
Exactly,
Absolutely.
exactly. And so again, to do what's best for the citizens,
Right.
and not going to
Absolutely. I
always
can
make
respect
everybody
the heck out
happy.
of that. I respect that. With the new courthouse now built and the old one will now be empty, what, if anything, would you like to be done with that area and why?
Oh my gosh, that courthouse is so beautiful. So the one thing about that courthouse, and I've seen different, especially just recently, I think I just saw a picture recently of the courthouse, its original stature of that, that square, that square. And, you know, there's a lot of things that can be done. I have personally been in there myself. I've gone down through all of the building, up, down. I've taken a general contractor down there with me to look and to get his thoughts and opinions, to get an idea of what we're really looking at.
Right.
Because, I mean, everybody keeps saying, oh, it's sick. Well, maybe it is sick, but it's not as sick as everybody leads everybody to believe. And could that building possibly be something great again? I think so. I think that, I feel like it could hold a beautiful restaurant on the very top to look over the Blackwater River. Imagine sitting up there and being able to sit at the top of the courthouse and look at the beautiful Blackwater River and have a nice meal.
Yeah.
Imagine in the lower half maybe a little coffee shop, a little mom and pop store. You know, I own a vintage market. I mean, what stops from taking each room and cavity of that building and making it something glorious?
Right.
You know, there's a possibility that, you know, somebody that may not be able to have afforded an actual building on their own, that could rent a small space,
Right.
An office room, and make it into something, you know, a little market for themselves.
Right.
I mean, it could be a vintage market. It would be beautiful.
Right.
It could be a coffee shop. It could, I think I said that. It could be a cyber cafe. You know, because we have a lot of people that, you know, maybe they don't have access to
Right.
internet and might want to be able to do that.
Or military.
And that was my next. And being that my husband was military, you know, you get these flight students that come to town.
Yep.
You know, it'd be a beautiful place to maybe shop, have coffee, do some schooling, all of in the beautiful downtown of Milton. There is so many things that building could possibly be. But you know what it takes?
What's
It
that?
takes one great investor, one person to have the idea to invest their time and their energy into another beautiful historic building in downtown.
You're right.
Every person that comes into town and comes here and falls in love with the beautiful Milton and says, "Ooh, maybe I could start a business in downtown," or maybe I should start a business in uptown, down, you know, off Stewart Street, or off of Dogwood, or again off of Caroline Street on Highway 90. Anybody that wants to invest their time and put their time into it. There are a lot of people out there. You know, I'm getting older, like I said. I'm going to get to that point where I'm going to have nothing but time.
Right.
And I want to use it all wisely.
Right.
So there's going to be others like myself. And, you know, there are a lot now that invest numerous hours into our historic buildings.
Right.
The Imogene, the Panhandle Butterfly House, the train station, the Finkelstein House, the Brew Angels building, the old post office. What about the old car station, the old
Right. The old car lot.
the old car place, the Whittle building. There you go, the Whittle building.
Yeah.
The Whittle building, that's what it's called. So the Whittle building, I mean, again, there's a possibility that even that building could end up back in the tax rolls. And if that happens, that's great. Because again, somebody might be able to use that building that may at one time not been able to do it, and
Right.
may want to invest in our community, might want to put money into our community. Again, there's somebody out there, I know there is, that would love to do something with that courthouse. And that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that somebody is going to come. And I mean, I've talked to a few people that I know, business owners, companies. I mean, I tell people all the time, I'm always in the background talking to other businesses, talking to people, you know, that are CEOs of companies that, you know, that might be themselves interested in investing in our historical properties.
Right.
it's a benefit to us. It's a benefit to them.
Right, you're right. You're absolutely correct. And I would love for them to be able to keep things the way they are right there. That would be great if they were able to find a way to make it, get an investor come in there and buy it off, or do whatever they've got to do. Work with the county, city, whatever. In a perfect world, I would be all for that, absolutely. But I know it's
not a perfect world.
Right.
But again.
But what I'm saying though is, I'm just worried that. Man, I'm trying to be.
Go ahead. I mean, I want you to be honest with me, because that's what I tell people. Be honest with me, because.
Well, you know, my thing is in my perfect world, my home would be the way it was when I was growing up.
Well, and that's why when I said with the courthouse, I'd love to see.
Right.
Again, that courthouse can go back to the way it was.
Right.
They can remove the wings that are on there.
Right.
And the portables are going to go away. We've already asked them to remove them, so the portables are going to go away.
Well, see, the reason I'm saying it like that is because I've heard so many different things. I don't know what at this point what is what. I've heard that it's already been decided. The county's the one that makes the final call. The city has no connection to it. And so I don't know what is what at this point, but that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying a perfect world.
I think, and as I've been told, and I could be wrong, and I'll admit to it, but that courthouse sits on city property. So the courthouse, I think, if I'm not mistaken, belongs to the county, but the property that it sits on belongs to the city.
Well, see, and
that's why we need to be able to have some say so on what happens.
Right, and see, and that's one of the biggest things right there is a lot of folks are in the same boat that I'm in. I've heard so many different things. Like I don't know what is what at this point. And that's why I said in a perfect world.
Right.
In my perfect world, they would find a way to keep it there and use it for something because that's my
repurpose.
Home. That's my home. That's my history. But sadly, if I have to see it go for some reason, well, then I want to do what's best for my home and what's best for the citizens. So whatever's best for them, I'm game for.
And that when I say I'm going to do what I feel is best for the citizens.
Exactly.
And again, it's not about me.
It's about the citizens, absolutely. But, like I said, we all have our perfect world in our own mind, and that's just mine. But at the end of the day, whatever's best for my home and its people, I'm going to be on board with 100%. Anyway, let's keep on rolling. There are some bars and restaurants in Milton, especially near the river, that would like for patrons to be able to carry their drinks from location to location and to walk out down by the river with them. Where do you stand on the issue of bringing your drink from locale to locale, and why do you have this? And what would you say to the restaurants/bars that want this and to those that don't want this?
Okay, so again, I'm a business owner, so I kind of see some point in it. But my point is this: again, if you have people walking around again with open containers, I'm not sure if we've found a way to do that without affecting the businesses, all of the businesses. Because here's the thing: there might be different ways to go about it, and I know that our community improvement board is actually having discussions on it. So I'm not exactly sure yet what's going on with it.
Okay.
But I do know that our community improvement board is working on that, and hopefully they'll bring us some ideas, and we'll know what to do with it.
Right.
Like I said, that's what that board's job is to do, is to work through those bugs and kind of bring it back to us and let us go, hey, here you go, this is kind of what we're thinking.
Right.
And then we can decide whether we like it or not. I want to support our businesses, but do I want to do it in a way that's going to affect the citizens? Because you got to remember, you're not the only one. The business isn't the only ones that uses that area.
Right.
And I get it. Like the businesses want to be able, some businesses, I know that right now there's an issue with where a gentleman owns a business, and he also owns a piece of property on the other side. So, how do you make it not illegal for him to have his patrons be able to walk across the street? Because as soon as they walk into the street, what happens?
Yeah, they're back. They're on public property.
Right. So, but we want to, as a city, we want to do the best thing for those businesses.
Right.
I mean, because we don't want to keep them from not being able to use this property.
Right.
So again, like I said, we have literally kind of handed it over to our community improvement board to let them take a look at it and then come back to us and see if maybe they've got some ideas that we didn't think about.
Yeah.
And
put it in the hands of the community. Absolutely, I like that. With the recent COVID-19 stuff, where did you stand on all the issues? And if you could have, would you have liked anything to have been done differently?
First off and foremost, let me just say, I will never mandate masks for my businesses, for the citizens. That is not our job. I've said it before. I had a mom that told me how to do things, and hopefully all of us had parents that raised us to know to do what's best for ourselves.
Right.
You do what's best for you. You do what's best for your business. You do what's best for your children. I mean, here I found out that what I thought was best for my children, for them, it wasn't best for them because, again, they're different. They're older. They have their own thoughts and values in the way that they do things. They were raised in my house. Do I think that they should have the same thoughts and processes that I do?
Right.
I do, but guess what? In a real world, it doesn't work that way.
Exactly.
Children are going to be their own person.
Yep.
You can only raise them the best way possible. But did I find out that my children, their thoughts are different than mine when it came to COVID?
Mm-hmm.
They wanted to get the vaccine. My husband and myself were like, we're not doing it. And do I think that anyone should force you to do something?
No, absolutely not.
If it doesn't feel right, it can't be right. I know that my father, I could hear my father in the back of my head going, Shari, don't do it.
Right.
And I know, like I said, I told my children, here's the deal. I'm going to get the vaccine. No, I'm not getting it. I said, it's my choice to make that decision.
Right.
My children said to me, but Mom, you always vaccinated us when we were younger. You know what I said? Guess what? When you were younger, it was my responsibility to take care of you.
Right.
Guess what? You're an adult now. Make your decision.
There you go.
If you decide you want to get the vaccine, get the vaccine. If you decide you want to wear a mask, wear the mask. I'm an adult. I'm a grown woman that knows what she wants and doesn't need somebody to tell her.
Bingo.
So it's not my job. It's not our job as a city to tell people what to do.
Gotcha. And I said that from day one. If you want to wear a mask, by God, wear a mask. If you want to get the shot, go for it. But don't try to tell me how to live my life. That's where I'm at on it. But anyway,
Yep.
We the people. We the people is a term of ownership. What does that mean to you?
We the people. That means everybody. Not just one, not just me, we.
There you go.
All of we.
Bingo.
Everybody. That's what it
Bingo.
means.
Love it. Do you agree with the end justifies the means in the decision-making process?
Sometimes it does.
Okay.
I mean, sometimes it really does. I mean, sometimes there's just nothing you can do. I mean, you just have to do what needs to be done.
Gotcha.
Whether you want it or not.
I got you. All right. Why should the people of Milton vote for you over your opponent?
Well, first and foremost, I don't dig deep into who I'm running against.
Right.
Do I know who he is? I've seen him. He's been at meetings. Do I know his background because people have come to me and told me? Do I research it? Not my business.
Right.
I am doing this for the citizens of Milton.
Perfect.
It's not about the person I'm running against. It's not. It's about getting out there, talking to the citizens, finding what they want. Hopefully, you've talked to them enough for them to understand where you're at and enough for them to go, you know what, she's the one for the job. And I feel like hopefully I've done exactly what I said I would do 4 years ago when I ran originally. No, I did not win, and people always say this. They're like, she was appointed, she lost with a marginal I lost by 800 votes, man. 800 votes.
Right.
Maybe it's a lot. To me, 800 is not a lot.
Dust yourself
It's
off.
just 800 people that I didn't get to talk to. And I mean, I've got 3 months to get out there, talk to everybody, get signs out, get things ordered, make sure that everything is, send out the flyers, talk to the people. That's a very short time frame. You're talking 3 months. Yeah. We have 11,000 people in the city of Milton, and you have to get to everything. Yeah. I really do wish that there was some way that I could get them all in one big room together and say, hey, this is who I am.
Right.
But it's just not going to happen that way. So I just feel like as long as I do everything that I need to do and do what you ask me to do, talk to you, be transparent. I mean, I do exactly what I say. When I say it, I mean it. It's truth.
Right.
And if it comes out of my mouth, it's true.
Right.
If I put you on the spot, it's true. If you say something about me and I hear it and I know it's not true, I'm going to confront you.
Right. Absolutely.
Because that's the way I was raised.
Right.
Are you going to feel a little uncomfortable? Probably.
Yeah.
Probably because I'm confronting you about something that I know is not true.
Right.
And you're going to, again, like I said, I'm going to do everything I possibly can for the citizens of Milton. Again, I'm there. You can reach me for the city. You can always reach me at 850-889-3630. I have an email. It's ssebastiao@miltonflorida.org. You can email me. I'm transparent. Right. I'm available. And I said I would be from the very beginning.
And that was our next question right there. So you perfect right there. If anyone wants to get a hold of you, how should they do that? So there you go. And I'm going to put all of that up there as well. So if anybody wants to get a hold of you or reach out to you, ask you any questions.
And know that after the election, I'll have my magnets back on my car so that now I've got the Vote for Sebastiao magnets. But know that after the election and I've won and I'm sitting back up where I'm supposed to be, and I'm hoping that that's what the citizens want. I mean, if they don't, I get it. But if you do want me to fight for you and I'm up there, just know that those beautiful City of Milton green magnets will go right back on my truck and you'll see me everywhere.
Awesome.
And don't feel afraid that because it's 8 o'clock at night that I'm not there for you. I'm there for you 24/7, 7 days a week. That's my job.
That's the way it should be. That's not a part-time gig right there. And that's what we was talking about before we got rolling into this. This is a full-time job.
And it's not the money, because believe me.
Exactly. It's about the drive to want to serve and be there for your.
Do what I can do for the citizens. Be what I can be. Be that voice. Be that shoulder. I can take it. Whatever it is, I can handle it.
Absolutely. Now that was all the citizens' questions that we have. So is there anything that you would like to talk on, bring up, say, or anything you want to put out there?
I think I just want people to understand. Know that, I'm a hard, tough, some people feel like they can't talk to me. Maybe they feel like that, I'm this hard exterior person. I'm just a friendly, go-lucky, want everybody to be able to get along. I know that's not going to ever happen in the real world. I mean, we're in the real world. People are just not going to get along. Right. You're going to have those group of people that don't live in the city that are out, that are coming to our meetings, that are fighting against us about things that don't even pertain to them. They don't even live here. Mm-hmm. And you think in the back of your head, why are they here? I want people to understand. I'm here for everybody. I get it. I get it. You want to fight. You want to fight the good fight. Well, I want to fight the good fight too.
Right.
But do we have to do it mean? Do we have to be mean about it? Can we do it nicely? Can we smile and have a wonderful day and just be respectful and kind? And I mean, that's what I'm asking for. I expect people to be kind.
Right.
And,
that's the way it should be.
Don't tear people down. As a woman, this is a man's world. As a woman, I want to be that person that people can stand up to and go, dang, she did a good job.
Right.
Even through all of the fight and the ugly and the things that people say behind your back, I got it. That doesn't bother me.
Right.
I just want to do what's best for the citizens and for myself, because I am the citizen too. I live here.
Right. Absolutely.
So that's what I want. I want people to understand that I'm not here to do anything ugly. I don't have somebody telling me what to do. I mean, I've heard that a few times, that people are like, oh, well, she's got somebody that handles her. I don't think so.
I don't. Hard to believe.
Yeah, no, me too. I was like, you obviously don't know me very well. Because
I just don't see that.
Shari's her own girl, and nobody tells me what to do or say, and I've told many people that, you know, that I get along pretty well with most of the council, but they also know that if my heart is into something, or, you know, I feel strongly, I'm gonna speak up. I'm gonna say it. I'm not gonna let somebody else tell me what to say,
right,
or how to do, or how to act, or, you know, is it nice to have somebody every once in a while going, hey, Shari, maybe you shouldn't have said that. I'm like, okay, well,
sure,
you know, I'm human,
right,
and human is to err, and it happens.
You know, your job is to do what's best for your citizens and your ward and everything. And so if you're sitting up there on like a stump on a log, not saying or doing anything, then how are you really looking out for your folks? You're not.
And I tell people this too, that even if you think that I sit there and I don't say anything or I don't do anything, don't think that I'm not doing anything, because there's a lot of things going on in the background that you don't see.
Right.
And I don't ask for recognition. I don't want it. But people still bring it out and try to use it against you when you try to do good things. It's sad, but it's true.
Yeah, you're right.
But again, I got these shoulders my mama gave me.
That's right.
And I'm strong, independent, and I can take it.
That's right.
So I'm here to fight.
Love that answer. Miss Shari Sebastiao, it was an honor to have you sit down.
Always a pleasure, Tommy.
This is the first time I've known you for years, but it's the first time we was able to actually do an interview like this. So it's been a lot of fun. I'm gonna take me a couple days to get everything edited and get it up, but it'll be up there. And like I said, guys, all of her information is gonna be on there. So if you want to reach out to her, ask her any questions,
please
reach out to her. Email is gonna be there, phone number, all of that. So don't say you didn't have access to her, in other words, right there.
I'm right here. And I'm always accessed.
And then, of course, if you can't get a hold of her through email or her cell phone, she put her address out there where her work is, so you can
come see me.
There. So,
hey, I got a coffee pot. I'll make you a cup of coffee and we'll talk.
There you go. Ain't nothing wrong with that. All right, Miss Shari. Well, it's been an honor, ma'am.
Thank you, Tommy. I appreciate it.
Anyways, guys, I'm Tommy Nichols, Miss Shari Sebastiao. Toodles.